Alright friends, let me talk about Alright, so today we are going to be talking about the definition of happiness for ourselves. Have you ever deeply thought about the definition of happiness? In the last video, I was talking about the simple work that you can make yourself fulfilled and happy at the moment. Even though I was confidently talking about how to be fulfilled with the current moment, while talking about it, I thought, what is happiness in the first place? So I did more research about the definition of happiness. One of the Japanese books that I read was 幸せになる勇気. In English, it's Courage to be Happy. Actually, another publication from our same author who wrote Courage to be Disliked. So check that out if you're interested. But in this video, let's think about what is the definition of happiness together. And I'll be sharing how to be happy, how to be fulfilled, and how to actually make a progress in your life. In the first section, let's talk about why it is important to talk about the definition of happiness for ourselves in the first place. In the second section, let's talk about the definition of happiness and how to make ourselves happy with the current moment. From here. Why do you think it is important to think about the definition of happiness? I think if you're watching this video, you at least think it is important to think about the definition of happiness for yourself, right? Why do you think it is important in the first place? So let me explain why it is important to think about the definition of happiness for ourselves in this current modern world. So let me share this research about how happy Japanese people are. And this research is about the level of happiness in every country in the world. Japan's rank is 58 out of 156 countries. What do you think of this result? I would say this is a pretty disappointing considering the fact that Japan is a pretty advanced country. In Japan, we do have everything basically for living. Japan's economy is one of the largest economies in the world, so it means that it's a pretty advanced country, right? In 2022, actually, Japanese economy was the third largest economy in the world. Despite of our advancement of economy, Japanese people's happiness level is 56. This is a huge gap, isn't it? From my personal experience living in Japan, I don't feel any difficulties living in Japan. We have all food, it's really safe. It's relatively easy to get a job after graduating from a high school or university. I think Japanese people are pretty privileged position in terms of our living in this society. Everything is organized, food is available all the time, we can drink tap water, everything is safe. However, the happiness level is pretty low. So we can clearly say that having this financial wealthy is not everything. It's not necessarily everything when it comes to feeling happiness in your life. What I'm saying here is not like we shouldn't chase for financial success. What I'm saying here is that financial success, financial wealth are not 100% attributable to our happiness, our fulfillment in everyday life. So the question is, what is it? What is the contributable factor to our happiness? But that is the reason why I think it's pretty important to think the definition of our happiness for ourselves. And the second reason is because we now have more freedom to decide the path we want to go to. It gets easier for us to see what other people are doing now, and then it's not exactly the same as what it used to be. Going to a big corporate, working for a corporate used to be a pretty normal thing to do, like obvious thing to do after we graduate from a college. However, now that the world is pretty digitalized, and it gets easier for us to start new thing that is a little bit different from what it used to be. That gives us awareness that we do have options. However, if you're in a position where we can decide whatever we want to do, it actually makes us feel unhappy. This is interesting, right? Have you ever heard of our study about jams? On a regular day at a local food market, people would find this display table with 24 different kinds of jams. On another day, at the same food market, people were given only 6 different types of jam choices. Can you guess which display table leads to more sales? Actually, people who are presented with these 6 choices of jams are likely buy one of them. But when they are presented with 24 jams, they less likely buy this jam. There is another interesting result from this study, which is that it's not only about sales volumes that was different from each other. It was also customer satisfaction. People who are presented with 6 choices are happier after they bought it. And when they are presented with 24 jams, after they buying it, they are less happy, they are less satisfied with that product. And the reason is because they are given more choices and they were able to see other choices, right? That makes it difficult for them to decide, this specific choice. And after deciding what they want, it's likely that they think like, oh, I should have chosen this product instead of this one. Oh my god, what have I done? This is called paradox of choice. This is about fear about missing out. They are afraid about missing out. They fear these opportunities they had that they didn't choose. Now let's go back to the original discussion. Now world is pretty globalized and digitalized, makes it easy for us to see what it's like to live as someone else. That makes us feel unhappy with our situation because it's about paradox of choice. There are too many options for us right now. For example, we can go around the world, we can go to this university, we can study more, and we can go to this university, we can work for this corporation, we can do this normal thing if we try to do so, work as a solo entrepreneur. Like, we do have more options that we can take, and that makes it difficult for us to feel happy and feel with our current situation, ourselves. So this is the reason why it's pretty important to decide what is the definition of happiness for ourselves. Alright, so let's move on to the second section of our definition of happiness and how to make ourselves happy from here. What do you think of the definition of happiness for yourself? What we feel happy about is pretty much different depending upon your personality, depending upon your talents, depending upon your interest. But one thing that is common between us is that the expectation to your life minus the reality that you're facing equal how happy you are. How happy you feel about your life depends on how small or how big the gap is between your expectation towards your life and the reality that you're facing right now. When you feel happy, fulfilled with your life, this gap is pretty small. Or the reality that you're facing right now is actually better than the expectation that you are having towards your life. If the gap is too big, you might be thinking like, my life should be like this, but reality of my life is like this. This is like equation that I wanted to share with you. I'm talking very logically, but what we can do to increase our happiness level is to make this expectation lower or make this reality higher. Either of this. If we can do that, our happiness level increases. In the last video, I shared this quote that I learned in the past, and I think it has something to do with this equation. It's not happy people who are grateful, it's grateful people who are happy. If you're grateful, that means that expectation toward life is getting lower, or the perception towards your reality that you're facing right now is gonna get higher. So that means this gap is gonna be smaller, or this reality is gonna be higher than this expectation, right? So if you're grateful, you'll be able to feel happiness, you'll be able to feel fulfillment. You might be wondering, oh, if that's the case, does that mean we don't have to aim for progress? We don't have to aim for improvement in our life? I would say no to the question. The balance is pretty important. You want to be happy with the current situation, but you don't want to be satisfied with the current situation. If you stop aiming for the improvement in your life, you are actually doing opposite thing as human beings supposed to be doing. We have been always improving ourselves, and that's the reason why we have been able to progress this far. Well, let's think about more specific examples. We run, we walk, we eat, but we didn't know how to do these things. We learned it when we were a little baby, when we were a little kid. We learned how to do these things. And that is because our nature is to make a progress, make improvements in our life. You have been learning new stuff naturally, unconsciously, right? And that means we do have this nature of our keep making progress, keep making improvements in our life. So if we stop making a progress, making improvements in our life, that is opposite thing as what we are supposed to be doing. Does it make sense? So we don't want to stop making a progress in our life. Even if you think like, oh, I'm not kind of person who wants to improve on myself, I'm not really self-driven, I'm not really, interested in like self-improvement, that kind of stuff. I do understand like how you're feeling. There's nothing wrong with like how you're feeling like that. However, even if you feel like that, there is the fact that you can also learn this new stuff. You can go to school, you can go to work, etc. So that means you have a nature of keep progress in your life. Even though we can change our expectation to our life, even though we can change this perception towards this reality, it's preferable to always seek for improvement in our expectation to our life. If we try to lower this expectation toward our life for the sake of our feeling happy, feeling fulfilled with the current moment, that also gives us unhappiness. Does that make sense? That's not the direction we want to go to. We want to raise this perception toward this reality that we have right now by feeling gratitude to our reality. By doing this, our perception to this reality is gonna raise up. And then while doing that, we want to work on this expectation to our reality. At last, let me talk about how to actually feel fulfilled, feel happy, feel satisfied with yourself while making improvements in your life. In my conclusion, there's only one way you can do that. That is, we do set our goal, we do set our expectation to ourselves from our inner self, from our original challenge, from our original interest that we originally have when we were born. That's the only thing that we can do. The opposite thing that we can do is to set this expectation based on what society wants from us, or based on what your family wants from you, based on what other people want from you. This is the opposite thing that we can do. But if we keep doing it, if we raise our expectation to ourselves by comparing ourselves to others, by relying on the expectation from others, this is actually going back to paradox of choice. We are not living our life for ourselves. This is not the direction we want to go to. The only way we can always seek for the improvement while feeling happy with ourselves, while feeling grateful for what we already have, is to create this beautiful goal of yours, beautiful ideal version of yourself, of yours, based on your talent, based on your natural talent, based on your natural interest, based on your natural values that you have for yourself. We want to think about these things. That's the first thing we can do. We want to understand ourselves first. And then after creating this foundation, we are going to make an expectation to ourselves that we want to have based on this foundation that we created for ourselves. In order to create this foundation, what we want to do is to understand our natural talent, our natural interest, our values. If we have more understanding about these three elements, we'll be able to understand ourselves more, and we'll be able to understand what we naturally drawn to do, what we naturally looking for, what we naturally interested in, and then we are able to make this beautiful goal that is really particular to yours. That is your goal. That is not other people's goals. Let me talk about how to find these three elements. Your values, your interests, your talent. In order to look for these three elements, what you can do is to ask, these simple questions. I have a little bit of questions that I asked myself to look for these talents, these interests, these values. What you can do is to find these three elements, using these questions. I actually talked about more details about this in this video. So if you're interested in how to create this foundation of yourself, you can check that out. And after finishing understanding about yourself, what you're going to do is to set this goal of yours, which is not dependent on what society wants from you. Of course, when it comes to realizing the situation, we want to think about strategies for how to do it. And when it comes to thinking about the strategy, how to realize it, we want to think about the combination of what we want and what society wants. But when we try to understand ourselves, we don't want to think about what society wants from us. Because when we try to do that, we tend to limit our potential. We tend to limit what we can do originally, what we are naturally talented at. We don't want to limit our natural potential. After thinking about these three elements, your interest, your values, your talent, you're going to set this goal. And after setting this goal, you're going to think about how to make it realized. And when we are thinking about how to make it realized, this is the first time you're going to think about what society wants from you. This is just a tool that you're going to use to make your ideal version of yourself realized. This is how you can make yourself happy and fulfill and satisfied with yourself. And if you're interested in how to find, this natural talent of yours, natural interest and values of yours, you can find this video and then check this out. If you want to make your better version of yourself, if you want to make yourself happier, if you want to make yourself satisfied with your current situation, if you want to, make this 2024 the best year of yours, I'm willing to help you with that. And I'm providing this free call, that you can have a conversation with me about how to make, the better version of yourself. You're already beautiful. I just wanted to say this. You're already beautiful. You're already lovable. You're already, you are just who you are, and then that's totally enough, But if you want to live your life effortlessly, meaningfully, purposefully, I'm here for you. So please book a call with me from this site. After registering your information, you'll be able to have a call with me. So please check it out if you're interested. In this channel, I talk about how to make best version of yourself, how to make better life of yours, how to live your life effortlessly, meaningfully with a twist of our Japanese wisdom and philosophy. So if you're interested, please subscribe to my channel. If you want to do that, I can guarantee that you are not going to regret for subscribing to this channel. You are the reason why I can make content on YouTube. Thank you so much for watching this video until then again. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.